Welcome, peoples of the world, children of America, and overseas and other places. It's a Friday. I'm feeling good, man. Feeling real good. I'm feeling real hungry, but I'm feeling good. Yeah, I feel good when I get stuff done. And I actually, for the first time in a long time this morning, I woke up. I didn't have any appointments. I freaking hate appointments. No more appointments. I'm not allowing any more appointments ever again.
Never.
Just call me randomly, and if I'm feeling it, I'll pick up. If not, I'll call you when I am. That's going to be the new rule. Think that'll work? Think I can do it? So anyway, I woke up this morning. I'm like, man, I really want to get the M3 deconned. And luckily, we've done about 12 decon videos in the last 2 months. So I just said, you know what? I'm not filming this. I'm just going to wake up and decon it however I feel like, Bryce. It's like, there's nothing new here. I used some crap, the Geon, whatever, the clay bars that are terrible, so we're not selling those, that's for sure. I like the clay lube, kind of. So I got to play with that a little bit more. But I ended up I was like, I'm going to clay bar the whole car. I made it like on the top half, and I'm like, screw this. And I went and got the auto scrub, so much better. But the M3 has needed some just me and Maddie and M3 time, And so I went out there, and before I even got started on the decon, I got off on chasing rabbits. I'm cleaning the countertops, and then I wiped the whole cabinets down, and then I got all this gym crap out of there that I was sitting in there, like barbells and stuff. And then I took the GT3 wheels and put those away, and I put some other stuff away, and then I almost went into the closet and started rearranging that. I'm like, no, I'll do that this weekend. And then I started vacuuming the floor. I haven't vacuumed the floor in 3.5 years.
In
the wash
garage.
bay.
Yeah. Okay.
This is why it's so frustrating for me. Those people are like, I just don't understand the Swiss tracks. So what do you do about the dirt? I'm like, there are literally I could smell the stink of bugs getting sucked up through the shop vac because there's so many bugs underneath there, like piles and piles of bugs and dirt and funk, and I'm just sucking it right up. It looks perfect, but I'm just sucking it right out of there, just cleaning it up. So I did that, and then next thing you know, I'm messing with my bike, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to decon. No videos. Took a couple little Instagram stories. That darn decon soap is legit, though. So good. It doesn't strip like hardcore strip, but it does exactly what we need it to do. And it foams so well. Doesn't destroy your hands. You can feel it on your hands afterwards. You probably want to use a little bit of the Media Team lotion after that, but you just decon it, and then I iron remove, which there really wasn't any iron in the car, and it felt good because the M5's gone, the Z06 is gone, my GT3 is on, like it's at the spa right now, and so Billy's taking care of it for me. And so all I have is the Civic, which really doesn't even count as a car for me. That's just a project. And so the Civic is over here, and it's just me and the M3. No extra. I got somebody who wants to buy that bubble that's out there. It's just a good day. I came over here. We shot the tire dressing video. The tire dressing will be live. What time, Bryce? Monday?
When I decide on Monday.
Don't give me that, Bryce. Tell me a time.
Noon. How about that?
Noon on Monday.
Eastern time.
Eastern.
Eastern time.
Is there any other time?
GMT.
Matt Mormon time. That's what it is. That's what Eastern time is for as far as Obsessed Garage is concerned. 8 ounce, 24 ounce, 32 ounce, gallon. I'm going to sit down and price it the minute after this podcast and figure out what it's got to cost. And it's in this, not too shabby, for a little better than grab me that our Citrus Decon first bottle, first run. So this was what I would call a crappy bottle, and now this is what I call a crappy bottle. So we're making progress. But a crappy bottle with a crappy label is a little better than my inkjet, my desk jet. If you licked your finger, the letters would come off of this, and then some little disclaimer on here. But so this was when we did the Citrus Decon, until I realized why calling it citrus is ridiculous, because it's not acidic. and then changed it to Decon soap and made it purple so it would match, purple iron removal. But yeah, this is the tire dressing I talked about in the video, specifically the whole story behind it. And some people still won't believe it. It'll be so funny. I'll just keep messing with them.
All right, so that's available Monday at noon.
Yep.
Pre-order or?
We're going to call it a pre-order, but we're going to hopefully get it out relatively quickly. We're so far behind because of suppliers, so just bear with us. Everybody has an order. I sent out an email, had Kyle, send it out. I typed it up, and, it's impossible to get stuff right now. So just keep that in mind that I hired 6, but one guy backed out. So I literally hired 5 people on Sunday and Monday, within 12 hours. And so we're going to have the people, we're going to have the process. Hopefully the product follows. But thanks, keep the orders coming. We're going to get them out. We're way faster than Amazon is right now. Amazon's taking 2 to 3 weeks to get stuff to me. So we're 4 or 5 days behind, and there are some orders that are a few weeks behind because we're waiting on something. So I messed it all up with the giveaway like I always do, because I just said keep it all in inventory, take the dollars, and so that's why we're a little bit jacked up, and my dad's gonna kill me, but we're getting there.
Yeah, and we'll get to that question later. There's a couple questions that kind of touch on that. Speaking of that, though, the giveaway, I want to go back to a couple questions that I found on Instagram. The packages that were created for the giveaway, are they going to be around after the giveaway? They're not currently in the store.
Yeah, we're gonna sit down and some of the we're gonna put it in where it needs to insert it where it needs to go in the store. But we're gonna Bryce and Mike and I will sit down and figure out what needs to fit, what needs to stay, what needs to go, how we're gonna do it. It's gonna be time here this summer. This fall to get back into the site is becoming so robust now that we need to kind of get back to basics for people, especially as we get through the Civic, we get through some more garage giveaways, we get more sort of a bigger and bigger following, or more and more people start to learn about Obsessed Garage through different channels, through different degrees of separation. So it's going to be imperative that we create some back to basics with pressure washing, with detailing, with what products to choose. Now we have the site. The site is robust enough for us to do that. We have the right menu, and so now we can start to formulate another sort of higher level of organization and teaching people how to give us their money.
And then we had another question: are the T-shirts and hats, are there any left over? Yes.
Yeah.
They're in the store right now.
Are they? Okay.
The T-shirts at the bottom of the page there. The hats we're going to continue to sell, though. But
the hats will remain.
Yeah, they are available.
But the shirt was a special edition thing that we'll have and move on.
And then last question here that I gotten from earlier was, are we done hiring at OG now, or are you still looking?
Yeah, I'm done hiring for now. My suspicion is that won't last very long, but we do have... again, five people. Robert's already here, so he started on Monday. Justin starts next Monday, and then the other guys coming from out of town will be in the next couple of weeks.
We got Tommy, Aaron, and Lewis.
Yeah.
After that, let's see. We have people from Denver here today, from Rockwall, Texas. Excellent. Yoshi hasn't told us where he is today. He was on the moon and then in Antarctica before that.
You love that kind of crap, don't you?
I do. This is Delaware County, PA. You know where that is?
I do not.
Oh. So, sorry,
John.
John.
That sounds like a Florida county.
Montgomery County, PA. All right.
I know that, yes.
Yeah. Let's see.
I worked at Worldwide Stereo and Video in Montgomeryville.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go. Do you plan to keep the OG edition CSL EXO?
No. We will have some more, right? We have like 100 and something more. I capped it at 500, and then we'll probably do something where we actually, what we may do is we'll yank the $25 off, make it the same pricing, and probably just create CSL EXO in our own sick box and just make that our product. Because one of the things I fear about packaging and our own packaging is that the company can't keep up with our demand. And so, but I don't want to stock like a whole warehouse full of one product. And so G-Technic has proven to us that they can do it. They can do it for us. So I have a feeling we've caused quite a bit of disruption in that. Selling 400 some odd coating kits in a few weeks is pretty remarkable. So thank you guys for buying them.
Yeah, and Eric and the people at G-Technic have been really good about keeping us in stock. So once we get all of them in and get all the dust settled, then we'll have some left over, I think is kind of the in there. Let's see. Ooh, we have somebody from Scotland. That's cool. Checking in from Chris's favorite country. Dallas, I guess, has moved out of Canada. That's cool. How have the talks with Pressall been? Any new shipments coming soon? That's from Blake on Facebook.
I just talked with the owner, the daughter. So there's, I guess she's one of the owners, but Nina. So I got her on the phone with Yolanda about what I was looking for. So I showed them the action of the garden and the household sprayers. So the blues, the translucents, and the yellows, the yellow greens. The action of the trigger is fantastic. So whatever they did to the trigger is amazing. And they atomize, you've got plenty of atomization choice. So that is a ready for prime time bottle. The blacks and the reds, I feel like don't have the same trigger action. And so I've asked them if they can do that on our next run so that the chemical resistant sprayers or the industrial sprayers, the reds and the blacks, all have the same function, so they all look and act the same. I also sat down and talked to them what we wanted for the future. I want a translucent chemical resistant bottle. So I want that funky bottle in translucent. They found a cap for us, and they're also looking into building us a new type of gallon that will be consistent with the style of what we're looking for. And then we'll probably introduce the pump sprayers for people who want pump sprayers. I hate pump sprayers, but they have a pump sprayer as good as anybody else's pump sprayer that matches the whole structure, the whole setup. And so now Bryce is sending some bottles to the UK for a follower who's going to help us figure out how to make a labeling system for the Pressall bottles. But now we're starting to, again, I told people this will probably take us 5 years. We're probably a year and a half in, versus us taking 10 years if I try to create my own thing. And so we're ahead of schedule. I think within the year we're going to have a really awesome lineup of bottles with labels, both generic and specific, and the ability to then hopefully start to put P&S in our bottle, and obviously the tire dressing and decon, and hopefully even provide, like, let's say CarPro wouldn't let us do it, then we would put just give them a bottle with whatever paint prep, and then you could put eraser in it on your own if you wanted to. So and I have a feeling that as time goes on, as this gets bigger and bigger, and we have more and more influence, I think that every company is going to let me take their product and put it in our bottle and tell everybody what it is. I mean, why would you not let me do that? And then so eventually I want to be bottling it all ourselves in our own bottles, because most companies aren't going to be able to pitch that like I can. The Yoshis of the world, they're going to pay, extra $10 for tire dressing in a better bottle. I would, in a heartbeat. Absolutely. So
let me go back to one giveaway question here, since we got Bryce in there with us. Are we going to have more of the prints and illustrations available after the giveaway?
Yeah, so we'll probably have a little liquidation sale of the leftovers of the actual prints of the physical cars, but the renders are going to stay in the store permanently, and we'll create some special edition ones here and there, and then we'll probably do a new one for the GT3 with new wheels when that gets done, and and obviously the GT4 and stuff like that, the Civic. I think the Camry render's done, isn't it?
Yeah, we have. I want to read an email about that when we talk about that.
Okay.
We have this is from Mark Bryan, who evidently watches the podcast, maybe listening right now. Chris, I hope all is well with you and the rest of the OG family. I'm in the process of renovating a new office, and I've been trying to decide which OG car posters I will hang near my desk. And I've decided to go with the autographed Camry one if I'm lucky enough to get one. Any idea when they will be available?
Oh, Lord.
So they are. We're one step closer. They're not available yet, but
the render's done, right?
Yeah, the render's done.
And now he has to print it.
Give us a week or two.
Yeah, and then launch it.
Let's see. We have a
3 that we're gonna sell.
well. That was another question that came up here on Instagram about which illustration sold the best during the giveaway. Someone was asking about that, and it was the Sapphire Blue
GT3.
GT3. Yeah.
Well, maybe I should buy that car back and do a giveaway with it.
It was way outsold the other ones by far.
Interesting.
Yoshi chimed in here in the super chat. You mentioned the OG team will be fixing up a janky Civic. When will the Good Enough Garage / OG After Hours build start?
I'm feeling real uncomfortable about this. These guys can't even keep their desks clean, let alone keeping the freaking crap out of my garage. So
you want to give some backstory?
They're going to be some excuses going on here. So here's what they want to do. So Bryce and Kyle and Mike, they want me to buy them because I told them I would. They want me to buy them a like $2,000, $1,500 Civic for all the ancillary leftovers that the 3 and 4 and 8 exhaust that I buy and don't like.
Okay.
Right?
Integra is also compatible with a lot of
Yeah, you're not getting it. You can't get an Integra. It doesn't work.
So $2,000 Civic to start.
Yeah, so they want to get it, $2,000 car, and then do a OG after hours, and then post a. I'm not going to have anything to do with this other than come in and shake my head. But I told them, if I find one drop of liquid on my floors from this car, or it can't be in the parking lot. We don't have any room, so you got to get it out of here every night. And we already don't have time to do what we're doing now, so how the heck are we going to play with this stupid Civic? So, we'll see.
Well, there you go, Yoshi. We have more people checking in from Portugal, Montreal, Finland, Norway. And yes, we do ship T-shirts to Norway, to answer that question.
Yeah, T-shirts are real easy because we
Yeah.
can send them USPS first class, and it's relatively...
No, we're not doing that anymore.
What do you mean we're not doing that?
Because half of the packages get lost. So we have
Oh.
USPS priority mail available,
Got
but
it.
we were having to resend far too many things.
All right. Scrap that. But yeah, we can get it there pretty inexpensively.
Richard asked here in the chat and also on Facebook, he chimed in with this question. Can you talk about using the Flex polishers, how it compares to the Rupes? Are you planning to add the Flex cordless to the OG store? If so, do you have a timeline?
I'm going to use so Billy did the lion's share of the using. I'm still waiting on the PXE80, which I think he said was coming. So I'm waiting on the 3-inch, the 1-inch, 2-inch, 3-inch version. It's pretty good. I think it's something that I'm going to want in my drawer, so we'll probably offer them. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not selling them because I want ego. I'm just be honest with you. There's a strong pull to just put them up there, even though I don't like it. But I think I just got to use it. So when I first got my hands on it, I'm like, this is stupid. I don't like it. But I kept seeing Billy go back to it over and over again, and I've used the force rotation is not my bag, so it would be the DA. But I'm gonna probably mess with it on the M3 some more. I'm pretty certain the 3-inch, if the 3-inch is as good as everybody says it is, after using the little one, I've used the 3-inch at which you can put a 1-inch backing plate on at SEMA. So yeah, I think we'll see, but it's looking promising.
Let's see. Martin says, Karcher products coming anytime soon. Shout out from Houston, Texas. Keep up the great work. I got an email today. Karcher shipped us some of the K1700s. We have 35 on the way, which is not quite what we ordered.
Yeah.
But that's what they could get us. So Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll have the K1700s. Now, be aware there are approximately 80-something people here who have signed up to be emailed when they come back in stock. So
yeah, I mean,
gonna be-
Karcher, I think in Wisconsin or Minnesota.
and Karcher's in Arkansas or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's where they're coming
Most
from.
of the rest of them are.
I think Karcher's HQ is in Minnesota, or maybe Denver, somewhere out there in the West. They've had they had 18 cases of corona, so they had to shut the whole state down, and they're still locked down over there. So we've been having a hard time getting stuff.
Let's see. Want to go to this question? This is from Colby on Instagram. Go back to the Civic here. Why are you keeping the VTEC badges on? They got to go to follow OG spec.
Yeah, we'll see. That'll be like wake up in the morning and I'm like, these things got to go. I'll probably do it just to hack everybody off. I like doing that. Not everybody. Only the certain few who have a chemical imbalance.
All right, let's see. David, our friend David in Alabama says, do the standard screw-on funnels also fit the Press-All bottles?
Yep. Yeah, they do. I don't know that they're designed to fit it, but it fits. I mean, it works. So I use them all the time.
There you go. Scott replied in the chat to him.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dallas has a $2 super chat here. Camry forever. Thanks, Dallas. That's good.
Yeah, wait till you see the ridiculous render. It's so stupid.
Let's see. Is the Obsessed Garage Decon soap strong enough to strip Powerlock 845 that has already been applied to a car? That's from Travis P. on Instagram.
Yeah, it does, kind of. It gets you started. The 3-step process, by the end of it, you won't have any of that left. You won't have any Powerlock or Colonite on there. So, but if you just want to throw the soap on there and just rinse it off, it's probably not going to go.
Let's see. Wayne says, why didn't you do a print of the white Carrera S? That was your car when I found this channel.
Yeah, it was on the list, but we didn't have a good photo of it. Like, we didn't have a side profile shot of the car, which we really need in order to do the render accurately. So we just kind of ran out of time.
Let's see here. This is from Sam on Instagram. Matt, since you said you don't like the stock wing as much and you're putting very quality parts onto this car, have you ever considered a different wing on it? Possibly the Mugen or Mugen wing, however you say that.
Yeah, I don't think you can really get that one anymore. But what I'll probably end up doing is sourcing a trunk, having it painted, and then I'll just keep the original trunk and have a secondary trunk and probably do something like that. We'll see how this goes. We'll see how, the stuff where the problems are going to start showing up are going to start happening. So we'll see how frustrated I get, and whether I chase all the way to where I'm planning to chase toward and get there or not. But I'm not going to make any promises. But I would like it without the wing. I think it looks better.
All right, this is from Thomas in the chat. An appropriate question for us. Matt, I drove through Florida last weekend during love bug season. How does the Crystal Serum Light hold up against bug guts?
Yeah, it'd be fine. I mean, if you waited a week or two, you'd be screwed. But, we got them all over the Raptor, and it'll just come right off. That's the whole thing. That's like, I've made several videos in the past. You're just kind of talking about don't use dryer sheets and this bull crap. If your car's coated, they'll come right off. So do like I always talk about, get the normal wash, get the sediment off, and then your normal rinse, and then you can go after the 3 bugs that are left over. But most of them should wipe right off without you having to beat up, too badly. Again, if you left them on there for weeks, then you're screwed. Because love bugs are not acidic. Their blood or their guts is, there's an enzyme that we believe is what, reacts with or etches the clear coat.
And you found all that out through your radio show, right?
Somebody asked me to come on with a University of Florida scientist, and then there was a biologist. So there's a biologist and an
entomologist or something.
Yeah, someone who studies wildlife and bug or whatever insects. And so I asked them the question. I said, there's all these. Well, we talked about all the rumors about they were created or engineered by Enter your university to eat carbon monoxide or to attack mosquitoes. They don't eat other insects, so they're useless. And they just sort of migrated up from South America. And for whatever reason, they seem to be attracted to, hot, wet, swamp areas. That's where they kind of lay their eggs, and they go dormant. So they come in May and October, or May and September, and that's when they show up. And then some years are worse than others, and they don't really know why. But they're not invasive. They don't really cause any problems other than mess up cars. So they don't really do anything about it. They just let them do whatever they do.
Let's see here. I had a question this is not a question, this is more of a comment from John in the chat. I love OG. Even as backlogged as you guys are, you're still faster than AutoGeek in good times. Your curated products are totally legit. Just grabbed a bucket package while it was available.
Awesome.
Thanks, John. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have this interim period of April and May, just unprecedented sales of stuff. We had an insane amount of inventory that we just rolled right through, and then the suppliers, not working in general, and then of course the suppliers getting from their suppliers has created a bottleneck. But I would suggest we're going to talk about inventory. We're going to redo our, we need to go recount inventory, but I'm going to suggest just order stuff. And just be patient with us. Just know we're going to get it faster than pretty much anywhere to you. It just won't be as fast as we normally can do. And so once we get through this interim patch of supply issue, hopefully it doesn't continue. But if we can get our supply back, I won't have a human or a bottleneck with humans for a while. I'm trying to build 500 order per day capacity. And hopefully build up to 1,000 order per day capacity, so we can get that. Many of you have ordered and we've shipped it like within the hour. I want to get back to that capability, and then start to run different shifts. Where we ship 7 days a week. But my long-term goal is to have 24-hour shifts and 7 days a week, and that way orders are going out like frickin' Amazon. So that's what we're going to end up doing. And that's why I eventually want to get away from drop shipping and have a giant mega warehouse with everything in stock, and we'll just make that investment in having tens of millions of dollars of inventory, and we'll have everything available to people.
Let's see, Scott. This sounds like you here, Matt. Scott says, "I'm about to wash my M3 and listen to the OG podcast. It's a nice Friday."
That's a good day.
Yeah. Sterling Maxima says, "Thank you for sourcing the 200-foot garden hose for me." You're welcome. I'm interested to hear how that turns out, Sterling Maxima. So
It's going to be freaking heavy.
let us know. Yeah, I don't know. That's going to be a big hose. Let's see. What are you doing with the gym building? What's the latest there? That's from Peter on Instagram.
Inside the Hex members, I have taken you up there. I need to record. I'll probably record a Hex video this weekend, a Hex cast. We decided, so I sold everything out, all the gym stuff in like an hour, and then had one guy come back and buy the remaining of everything, clean everything off the walls. They bought every scrap, every extra piece of everything, like everything taken off the walls. It went from a completely functioning gym to nothing in like an hour and a half. Like they unbolted things, took it out on trailers and trucks, and got it out of there. So we sold. I think I got about 30,000. So right around what my original investment was. I was about just shy of 60,000 net, into it between negative cash flow on paying salary and benefits and stuff like that. I hadn't paid myself rent, excluding the down payment and the cost of the building, but all the internet and service providers and all that stuff. So I lost about 30,000 on the deal. And so it recovered quite a bit of it. So we got lucky because that equipment in not so scarce times was probably worth half of that. But because none of the equipment was available, we were able to kind of get it all sold and extremely quickly. So I called my friend Zach and listed the building up for lease to find a tenant to put in there, and so I pulled the lease. He hadn't really gotten it done yet, so he'd bought a sign, and so I paid for the sign for him and asked him if we could rescind the contract. And so what we're going to be doing is we're moving OGHQ. We're moving the destination or the distribution section. So tech support and distribution are going to go up there. It's a 5,000 square foot building with with another 1,000 square foot covered area. I've called Rytech. I'm going to try to put Rytech doors in the front and rear. Try to take the side door out. So I'm hoping that Kalos came up, my air conditioner buddies came up to size the air conditioner for it. So the goal is a 2-month goal to get distribution out of here and up to there. That's the goal. And then we'll just keep media and build Obsessed Garage Design here. I'm going to build an unboxing studio, probably a proper podcasting area, and we'll have more room to fit the media people. And so this will become just like a big garage of cool stuff. The one up there will become the distribution hub, and this will be the guinea pig for what OGHQ destination will become. When we buy property and move to my guess is we'll end up building a 35 to 50,000 square foot building, and we'll bring it all back together. And I'm going to build it on a couple hundred acres so I can add another 50,000 or another 100,000 or another 30,000 or whatever's needed to house this plan that I have. Because the concept here of having massive inventory and doing no drop shipping is that I can do that because I'm going to be curating, not retailing. And so we're not going to try to just pick one of everything. We're going to have one of everything for each solution, and so that's going to be significant. A significant amount of stuff, but will be manageable with software and humans with the right amount of space to have a bulk warehouse and a small parcel warehouse, and be able to distribute both freight and small package output.
All right, let's see. This question is from Instagram, from CMAC. If you're putting something on a car with 3M tape, should I do it before or after polish and wax, or does it matter?
You should do it after polish and before your last step, because you want it to stick. So you'd probably want to use 3M adhesion promoter as well, and get a hold of one of those little, they're like the little, one of those little hand wipey packet things that's in one of those little things, a little sponge, and it promotes adhesion. So clean it with isopropyl alcohol after polishing really well, and then throw some adhesive promoter down, and then put it on. Then wax everything.
All right, this is from Squall on Instagram. Who does the music that you use in the intros and outros of your videos?
That's something we're going to be working on. I want to have a very consistent, very specific Obsessed Garage, a sound signature, and we've kind of done that, but we haven't spent the time to sit down and do that. And so as Michael Waba, who's getting acclimated to the process here, seeing our video style change a little bit, or I don't even want to call it change, but improve as we improve our style. I think you're going to see some real significant improvement coming up soon on our product-specific videos and unboxing videos. We're going to be, having some. I want to, we're trying to figure out how do we make a transition from, a B-roll transition from one thing to the next, and I like the idea of voicing over that rather than music, and so having music intro, outro only, and maybe an occasional, but that's the plan.
Yeah, we have some comments here in the chat about that. I think the M5 giveaway music was divisive. It's either you love it or hate it.
Well, that was the point. It was to annoy the crap out. I said I want something super annoying to remind people to go, and it was terrible. It was horrible. I hated it, but that was kind of the joke of it. So yeah, do you want to talk M5 numbers? Do you have those handy?
I can bring those up. Let me answer this one question that I looked up here for one of our customers. Mike from Canada says, any updates on Canadian orders? So I looked up your order real quick, Mike. You have a wand, which is what we were waiting on, and those came in today from Mosmatic, so we're going to get it out soon. They had fallen a little behind on our wand order, so. Let's see, let me bring up the M5 stuff. Let me give you a question to get you going. Is there an OG spec funnel or other solution for refilling bottles with products? Spilling product while refilling is rage-inducing.
Yeah, all the gallon spouts are kind of crappy, and I think make a bigger mess than anything. So I've tried all of those, bought them and tried them and played with them and did all that kind of stuff over and over again. But the funnel, the one to get is just that, I don't know where Adams gets it, but it's great. I've tried to find it, so I didn't have to buy it from them because they run out of them all the time. But yeah, you would you just use the Adams funnel and put that on your bottles. Even if it doesn't thread on tightly because the thread pattern's a little different, it'll thread on to pretty much any bottle, and you can use that to fill up your stuff. We're gonna have a funnel, an aluminum funnel that snaps in soap for your MTM foam cannon, but that sucker's going to be a stinger. So you guys better be ready for that. If we're gonna, we'll probably sell a bunch of them. But do we have more of those things coming? The quick
disconnects, yes, they're gonna make 100 more for us.
Yeah,
but that's weeks away. So.
Okay, got it.
JDM79 on Instagram wants to know: do you have any more plans for live videos, like when you're washing the car? I really enjoyed them.
Yeah. I think we're going to do a lot of those. The only disadvantage doing live is that there's a lot of dead space, and it's a lot harder for me to do and trying to think through the dead space. Because when we edit down a video, there's probably, let's say the video is 40 minutes long. Well, the video was probably 2 hours of footage or 2 hours of work time that we've edited down to 40. Most YouTube channels would have edited that down to 10 or 12. I like to keep it in because that's my style. I'm looking for people that want the in between stuff and can skip around if they want. I think we'll be doing a lot more live stuff.
All right, Mark asked a question to me here in the chat. He said, "Hey, Chris, what's your wheel and tire setup on your F-150?" So I looked it up so I give you all the right information. I'm not like Matt. I don't have all those numbers memorized. So I have the Toyo Tire Open Country MT. They're 35s. And then the wheels are XD Series 831 chopsticks. They're 20s. So that's the
proper hot boy or proper country style. Yeah, what is it?
Country hot boy.
Yeah. You gotta put like a single MTX 12 on the back seat.
Oh, there we go.
That's what you need.
Hold on, let me write that
down. The wire's just running right over the center console.
It sounds like something I would have done at one time.
Yeah.
Craig, while I'm looking up these numbers, with the TJ Hunt announcement that he's going to buy a bigger facility, is that collaboration with you dead or on hold till he finds the building?
Good question. He's been running around like crazy, and I need to call him and figure out what we need to do. So I'll ask him that's probably why he hasn't called. We haven't talked. I've been running around, and the YouTube life is a crazy one. So he's just as all over the place as I am, so we'll get to it.
Matthew here in the chat, it's another request. I've seen this, and I think this is actually in the works. Any plans for an OG hang tag to specify no wash, no detail would be a great accessory item?
That's been on my list since day one. I don't know why we haven't done it yet, but I want to do that. That's going to be like a signature item for the Civic giveaway for sure. Somebody gave me that idea, sent me an email, said, you should do a hang tag. I said, yeah, well, it's been on my list forever, but I love the idea of that'll be a special item for the Civic giveaway.
Here's a good question for you from Kyle York in the chat. Does Matt prefer the music from the M5 intro or the sound of the Sunjo pressure washer?
Yeah, the M5, the M5 music. What was our giveaway numbers? You got sidetracked.
Yes, because your password isn't working here, so I might just go build up on that
Just do Dashlane.
I did. Dashlane doesn't. It's being a pain too.
Oh.
These darn Macs, it's the issue.
Yeah, I don't think the Mac is the problem. You want me to get your PC and you'll be complaining in minutes.
Let's see.
God dang it.
That's right. I can go bring it up over there.
Yeah. So the
giveaway
was great. In order for giveaways to work, I think there has to be the story has to complete. You have to be able to start middle and end. Hit the, what is it called, the denouement. I've got to hit that, and then we've got to have a conclusion. So otherwise, it's kind of pointless. Because the giveaway is about making some money on the car. For me, it's about financing the cost of the project. And it would be better for me if I could just sell the darn car and move on, but unfortunately it doesn't really usually work that way. The S2000 worked out where I was able to find somebody who wanted the car the way it was, and so the Civic, the giveaway thing was not the Civic, the M5 giveaway. I listed it for sale. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad no one bought it because we ended up making a freaking pile of cash on the thing. But it finances my ability to be able to do these projects, and also brings in attention, brings in people to talk about it. So let's see the numbers. This doesn't include the mail-in entries that we enter into the random number generator after the fact, but
over here on the far right it does.
Got it. Okay.
Bryce gave me that stuff.
Got it. So we had forget those losers, but thank goodness one of those losers didn't win. But we created a model, so the 180K on the left, so that's total profit of the products sold, and so we assigned a value to the car. I'm just saying it was $100,000 was the total value. But that 180,000 profitability, so that means we would have made $80,000 on the thing, is what we really made. But I didn't want to apply all of that profitability to this model because a lot of people would buy bead maker and coating towels regardless, and so that didn't, that total profitability would have been profitability we would have gotten anyway. And so we call it a 50% model. And so in the 50% model, we wiped out, about 40,000 of that profitability I'm saying we would have already had. So we made about $40,000 on the car. That 69,000 was assuming that that's the 1099 that we're going to issue for the car. So we made, $40,000 profit, which, nets out the loss on the Corvette. But it's impossible to get the exact number. How many subscribers did we gain that will become future customers? Even if it's 100 people, 100 people that follow us are of extreme value, much more value than just a click and subscribe. So if we found 100 new Obsessed Garage real followers, those 100 people are going to spend an average of a couple $1,000s or more over the next however many years. So I don't want to analyze that because I really don't want to I don't want to have an agenda. And so there's an assumption that everything that I do has some sort of monetary benefit to the organization, just because people like what we're doing, and so I buy the car, and if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But that's kind of how it all went down. So I spent $100,000 on the car, or $90-something thousand on the car. We sell a bunch of cool stuff. I think we do it better than anybody at the whole giveaway process. The build process is better. The documentation is better. The car is certainly better than what anybody else is giving away. And the storytelling at the end, we've gotten lucky and we've gotten to give it. Wait till you guys see the garage giveaway when we do that. I think it's going to be great with Emmanuel building it at his house. And so we were able to do it quite a bit differently, and it's not as profitable as a bunch of my friends' giveaways are that have bigger followings, but I would wager that the long-term profitability for me of doing a giveaway is going to be much, much greater than even a much, much bigger giveaway profitability curve. And who knows, we're probably going to do a giveaway as it grows, as the channel grows and the people grow, the amount of people following. I think our giveaways are going to make hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars when we do them. I'm just doing it because it's fun and it's a way for me to find it. Like the Civic's not going to be worth $100,000. I'm going to spend $100,000 on it, but it's not going to be worth that. It's going to be worth probably less than $25,000 what I paid for it. But if someone gets it for free, it's we're not going to issue that big of a 1099 on the Civic. We're also probably going to give cash with the Civic giveaway as well, because there will be a lot of young guys that may not be able to afford the 1099. So that's what we're going to do.
And to answer kind of one of the popular questions, for total number of entries, they're right around 56,000. And so when people want to know what their chances were, just take...
Which is about 4,000 people.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how many people. Bryce knew that better than I.
Yeah, well, I mean, so items sold, but it's somewhere around 3,000 to 4,000 people. So imagine we had 30,000 or 40,000 people entering, and you had a few 100,000 entries. So right now, I mean, when we do a giveaway, your odds are pretty great. The guy who bought it had something like 400 entries or something. He spent about $2,300. He became a Hex Plus member and bought one of all the detailing packages, which he probably was going to buy anyway. And so he won the car. It's so cool.
That was very cool. Let's see. We have a super chat here from Jim L., our Canadian buddy. Hello, my two favorite Florida gents. Favorite with a U in it. It's Canadian. New warehouse question. Are you concerned about losing that close knit family connection
Yes.
you guys all have running out of 2 facilities instead of
Yes.
1.
It's not, that's the byproduct. You know, I mean, I'm going to have to go up there. We're going to have to do gatherings together. We're going to have to do birthdays together. We're going to have to, you know, make an effort to keep it together, although, you know, we're moving apart. I mean, I've railed against that from the beginning, but I don't really have a choice. I don't have the, I don't want to take the risk. We don't have the time to do, even if I did take the risk, I don't have the time to get it done. We need to get out of here immediately. Like, we literally aren't going to be able to park here. I'm going to have to run shuttles back and forth from my house. Yeah, I mean, we have 5 more people starting. By the time we get out of here, we'll probably have 7 or 8 more people. So, yeah, we need to split it up for now. But, yeah, I want it to be together. But, you know, it's 5 miles away.
Yeah, it's inevitable. I mean, even if you are in one building, I worked at a school with 100 faculty, and I didn't see some of those people once a month, maybe.
Yeah, but I want it to all. I want to be in it. I want to be in it all. So we're gonna have to figure out how to culturally work around that, and then the goal is to bring it all back together. But you know, Destination HQ is going to have 300,000 square feet of space where we have all different types of buildings and departments. So I think. That it's inevitable, and this will be a good training run for us to figure out how to maintain culture, maintain that, and do what we need to do to make it work.
Why isn't Quebec eligible for the giveaway? That's Quebec. That's their rules and their laws, right?
Yeah, lottery and these giveaways fall under gambling and lottery rules, and so Quebec doesn't have very favorable laws on that, and so it's too costly. There's a whole process you'd have to do just for that, and I probably don't have that many followers in Quebec anyway, so it's one of those things it's better to just avoid it. All the attorneys sort of advise that.
Yeah, so write your local whatever congressman in Quebec. Let's see, any lawn updates coming with
I know it's starting to take. Summer's coming, and so they're starting to treat it, and then we'll probably in about 3 months we'll get our first soil sample and see if the pH has changed. I guess the pH is supposed to fall, and so they've done 2 treatments and then just the regular fertilization. It's starting to come back. A lot of the areas that were totally gone are starting to come back. So we'll do an update video when we have something to update, but it's going to be a slow process.
All right, Eric on Facebook, our jeweler friend down there in Tampa area, I think. Would you ever do an OG Santos Trail mountain bike gathering? How much would we have to pay you in Super Chat to go in the Vortex section?
I'll ride through the side of Vortex, no problem. I'll do a couple of little loop-de-loos for you. Yeah, but I'm not doing any drops off of a cliff, I don't think I've ever seen anybody do anything in there other than just ride around the side like the rest of us. Yeah, I'm down for that. We went out Sunday. Me, Ryan, Michelle, Ryan, and I went out and rode. So I got my bike out there. Just nice, easy, slow ride with them.
All right, here's a good question from Chris in the chat. As a detailer, why would I want a wand attachment for my pressure gun?
Well, otherwise you gotta walk up close to the car, and it's just more ergonomic to wash it from with a 20-inch extension on the end of it, especially the roof and the the underbody. And I guess if you're really short, you would want to get closer to the thing. But I find a wand to be much more ergonomic, and I just remove the wand when I'm doing the wheels.
All right, let's see. This is from Bywall here in the chat. Did you manage to sell Tommy on some Sonic cabinets for his shop while he was there? Love your guys' attitudes towards each other in the videos.
No, not yet. I hadn't talked him into it yet. Tommy would want too big of a deal from me to get it done. Tommy and I, we get along so well because we're both tell it like it is guys, and so we both, I'm not offended when he tells me like it is, and I'm not, and vice versa. And so we get along really well. It's funny that when we were at the Smokies event, he came with Adam, and Adam just bailed on us. We're sitting there talking about all kinds of stuff, And Adam's attention span was he was checked out about 30 minutes in. But yeah, it's cool. I'm glad he came up, and I think the podcast was pretty good. We should probably consider hosting our own podcast where we do it once a week or something.
There you go. Let's see. Finney in the chat here. Not sure if this has been asked yet, but how did you like the Flex vacuums? Someone in my house keeps dropping zebra cakes in the family van. I saw it sitting out there.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I just brought the big one over. So there's the 44, and the 33, and the 44. Obviously, someone's making it for them. I don't know if it's Festool or something like that. But it seems pretty legit. I mean, it's an extractor. I doubt it'll be like the vacuum, but I'm gonna chase that here. At some point this year. I'm continue to be annoyed by vacuums, but as of right now, it's pretty darn good. What I may do is just offer it up, because people don't want to wait forever. So I may put it in the store and let people buy it. It's pretty expensive. I think it's like $400 for the little one, of $500. It might even be $500 and $600. I have to look at the pricing on it, but it's a really sophisticated vacuum designed for using with a sander, orbital sander, and stuff. But a lot of times those are going to have the best performance. Would be an extractor that's designed to suck out the dust from sanding.
All right, we have a couple comments here about the live videos from Dan, our buddy in Minnesota. Keep up the live stuff. Dead air is okay, especially for those of us that are bought in. Keeping it real and live is very OG style. And then Ryan, right behind him, says, I love the live streams. I feel like I'm hanging out with you in the garage.
Yeah, that's the feel. That's what I like about it. Especially if we, Bryce comes over and runs it, it's a little bit easier to do. We get much better quality than running 720p on an iPhone. Maybe I may get some smaller setup. I'm going to bring over a longer HDMI cable so we can move it around a little bit. Or even something like having a tripod on wheels that I can drag around. Because a lot of times I like to just be by myself, later at night, and not have to have somebody running it. I'm pretty independent even when somebody's sitting there with me. I don't tend to pull any punches. But the camera to me is such therapy. It affords me the ability to just chat it out. Because normally I'd be like this morning. I'm talking with anybody. I don't have anything to say. I enjoy. It's been very therapeutic for me over the years to set the camera up. Because otherwise I would go into a hole and just do a project after project after project after project. Like in an average weekend when I was working, it was incredible how much stuff I would get done. Now the camera kind of slows me down, but the goal long term would be to eventually just have a darn camera following me around all over the place. Because there's all kinds of good stuff. I think that we, the hanging out with Matt thing, I think could be, of value to both of us. Me therapeutically, and then you, picking stuff out of the melee to apply to you in your life.
All right, while we're on that subject, I want to get to this question from Jeff earlier in the chat. Does the anxiety related to a specific event or memory ever return after art therapy? Is it something where you have to go back for maintenance treatment periodically?
No. The idea of art is that you resolve your whatever is going on at the end of the therapy session. It's kind of working for me. It certainly works, but it's not like I'm not having like a click where I'm just healed. So, but yeah, you don't leave there. You leave there just fine. You leave there resolved, which is great. And then just depending on how stupid I get with sleep and with taking on too much and with not having enough money or whatever, all the things that kind of weigh on you, it eventually weighs on me and then manifests in anxiety. So every day I learn more about myself and how to manage myself, and so that I do once a week therapy session.
All right, this question in the chat is from Spencer, our friend up in the Dakotas. He says, what are your thoughts, Matt, on Rockford Fosgate versus JL Audio versus Focal for car stereo?
I've never had Fosgate. It's kind of cheap, there was a short period of time where it was like MTX and on JL's level, but Fosgate is a lot lower end. And so, JL has a high-end and low-end version. They have the Slash amplifiers, which were really great sounding when they first came out, and now they have the kind of digital, the digital amps or the Class D amps. They have those, but from what I understand, they don't sound as good as some of the more esoteric stuff like Moscone or Symphony or Genesis profile amps and Audison. Even Audison has kind of not been as high-end. So JL subwoofers are fantastic, really hard to beat. The Focal stuff I've never been a fan of. I just don't like Metal Dome, and so I don't like the high-end JLs either because they're super bright. And Focal to me has always been bright and thin, even the Utopia stuff. I actually like the lesser line, like what is it, Clear? I forget what the model under Utopia is, but I like those better than the Utopia, which would be their ultra high-end line. But that's why I'm such a Dynaudio fan. It's just simple Silk Dome drivers, just great.
All right, we got a super chat here from Mark, 1.99 pounds sterling. Hey guys, Matt, did you ever look into getting an RS6?
Jared has connected me with someone if I want to get one. I'm just not ready for it yet. I want to do a GT car next on a giveaway. Obviously, the Civic is going to last a while, so an RS6 would be a couple of years from now. But, I move fast. Who knows? But nothing in the works right now.
Ryan, I saw this comment a couple times, and Ryan kind of echoes it here. If you do the late night live streams, please look into getting some mods or people to help for those, just to clear the spammers up. I guess they're up more on those night live streams.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that show up, get everybody all riled up.
Let's see. Brian Chu, super chat here, $10 American. Hello from Brooklyn. What is the decon process for a year-old PPF before Halo/EXO?
Yeah, you would do the same thing. You would do, decon soap, and then you would do iron removal with an Iron X, chemical, and then you would auto scrub it, and then you'd polish it. You'd want to do a light polishing. You remove all the imperfections, and you just be careful around the edges. Tape off some of the edges, and then wipe down with eraser or panel wipe or prep, Geon prep, or isopropyl alcohol, and then do the coating. That's the way you'd want to do it.
Let's see. Matthew Phillips asked a great question here in the chat. What's the deal with the scissors? Are you actually cutting Kevlar?
No, but I had a guy who is an expert in scissors. I don't know why he's an expert in scissors, but he emailed and said, these are the ones you want, so I freaking bought them. And that got people all riled up, I'll have those scissors for the rest of my life. I was talking about I want an OG spec grade set of scissors. And one of the lessons I learned with Japanese knives, I have J.A. Henkel's, which is like it's like the fat dad fancy knives from Bed Bath & Beyond. It's like the only thing you care about in Bed Bath & Beyond, right? Other than, I'm interested in all-clad pans and stuff. But so there's high-end for the regular people, and then there's the real high-end, just like what we do. There's high-end for an air compressor if you're shopping for an air compressor at a Tractor Supply, or there's high-end for an air compressor in the real world, in the real industrial world. And so same thing with knives and now scissors. And so I bought a $350 Japanese knife, and it's like it's not even in the same stratosphere as the fat dad knives from Bed Bath & Beyond. You get 20% off coupon that I thought were great. And so once you learn that that it exists, I'd assume the same would hold true for scissors, and so I bought those scissors, which I'll have for many, many years. And so they're a fabric. They're designed for cutting fabrics and rated all the way up to cutting Kevlar. And so when I'm cutting things like paper and stuff like that, and PPF or whatever, now I have a great pair of scissors that'll last a long time that I could sharpen. And yeah, they cost like $600, but and I'll have them for forever. What is that? What is the value of that? And to regular people, they can't relate. For obsessed people, it makes perfect sense. So
yeah, funny story on that. So the email from that guy came in, and I get all Matt's email, and I started to sort things out and filter and get rid of stuff. And I clicked on the links. I was like, oh, man. I saw the price. I was like, I should delete this before he buys them. I was like, no, he's not actually going to buy this. And I even told Kyle, I was like, Kyle, you won't believe what I just saw. $600 scissors. And then a week later, I'm like, oh, here they are.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You know,
good. We'll have to use them. We'll do it next week.
I've got a $238,000 car. I mean, it means nothing to me. So I just want that. That's the best car. So that's what I got to pay for it. That's the best scissors. Cost $550. I bet you that's inexpensive. I bet you in the subculture and the the subset of scissor people, there's probably some probably a whole lot
cheap
of
to somebody.
Yeah, there's probably a whole lot more expensive versions. Because those Yexel knives I bought were cheap in the world of Japanese, cooking knives. So sorry to you who aren't obsessed. What can I tell you? As I get further and further into this, the less F's I give, the more I'm starting to realize that you can't please anybody. So I'm just going to please nobody but myself. And that's how I'm going to do it.
Let's see. Pristine Auto Detailing wants to know, do the new stainless quick connects for garden hoses work with hot/warm water? I've noticed my MTM seals do not hold up.
Yeah, it's not going to hold up. None of them will. Any rubber seal is not going to hold up to heat generally. And then the ones that have the check valve in it, Rob says they don't work. So I haven't really even used it yet.
All right, let me go back to this. We have some chat here about speakers and such. Why not Morel Elite or Supremos over the Dynaudio Esotec Esotars? In my experience, Morel is a better warm sound that has more detail than the Dynes.
I like Morel for a little while. I like the snap of a Dynaudio mid-range as well. So it's just the mid-range snap is hard to explain, especially if you get it in like a kick or a door and it's dynamatted or sound set up properly so it's not going to vibrate. And so the combination of Morel is warmer to me as well. But I've always liked the mid-range better on Dyne stuff. I don't know Supreme, so I'm not sure what that is.
Let's see. People are asking about Michelle's M5. What's her cut on the giveaway?
0.
And then Matt says, let's be honest, it was never Michelle's M5. This is good stuff here.
Yeah, that was one of those things like, that was the plan. That was the justification, and the justification didn't work out. Again, the older I get, the thicker skin I get, the more I'm going to roll with things. I'm going to try things. I bought a gym, tried it, lost $30,000. I'll go figure out how to make that back up somewhere else. It's not like I didn't, gave it a shot. And the gym probably would have succeeded. I lost interest.
All right, here's a good question. I'm interested in your answer to this. From Johnny Walker in the chat. What's your favorite pen/office supply?
Yeah.
You're not much of a pen guy.
No. I tried to be at one point, but no. I just like I like a thin, like a 0.5, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like a thick one. Yeah, I like a really, because I write small, so I like a thin pen, whatever you call it, thin-tipped. Ultra fine tip pen. I like those pens. I like the ones with the cap that comes off.
Certain pens work better in certain situations too.
Yeah.
And writing checks or something, I like a different pen. Let's see. Bird Ninja wants to know, how do you feel about Meguiar's 105 versus the V-Line 32 for heavier cutting compound?
I don't like 105 at all. So the V-Line stuff is like their consumer cheapo stuff, I think. So,
is the 105 the one that was so dusty?
No, that's 101. But 105 is also very dusty. So you do 110, but I don't like 110 either. So I think all the 105 lovers are ones that have like mastered it and how it reacts. But just think that the more modern versions are way better than the Meguiar stuff. But again, like a Jason Kilmer and Andy Ward, those guys have sort of mastered the 105, 205, and have kind of grown up Meguiars. And so if you have the system down, why would you mess with it? But if you're just starting out, why would you use an inferior polish when I think there's better stuff available?
All right. Let's see. Trap Cracker wants to know, Matt, do you plan to have a dedicated review video for the Flex PXE 80?
I don't know if it'll be dedicated, but certainly, we'll certainly have a product-specific video for it. So yeah, I mean, we'll certainly have one way or the other. You'll see it showing up, and you'll see it in whether or not we carried or not. I'm not sure, but you'll certainly see some detail on it, and I'll be sharing with you what it's all about.
Kosan wants to know: do many OG enthusiasts pop into HQ to say hello?
Yeah, not so much the last few months. But prior to that, yeah, dozens of people a week, would come, and I think more and more will come as things open back up. I've asked people not to come here, so we don't end up having to have somebody get somebody sick. So
yeah, not to come here right now.
Yeah.
But otherwise, when things are normal,
I'm kind of even that. I'm sort of lenient on. I mean, the probabilities are so low. So we've kind of laxed off on, panic mode, and just, I mean, you don't have a choice, but your circle's tight. People aren't going. I'm not going anywhere. You going anywhere?
Yeah, you go to zero places.
Right. So we're doing what we should have done in the first place, which is go to work, and just don't go a bunch of places and hang out with a bunch of random people, and go to concerts and crap. That's all you need to do. Shut it down for 15 days and then let it rip.
Yeah, any fun plans I had were canceled.
Yeah. So all that stuff, it makes sense. And so you go out to a restaurant and you drive down the road, and your traffic there's natural. We don't need some dum-dum in some governor's office to tell us what to do. So I refuse to listen to any of that bull crap. So we just do it. You just use your head. So that's what we do. And so logically, we don't want people coming here from all over the place. The guys from New York come to get the car. I just don't get too close. Just don't have them spit on me, and we're fine. We'll be just fine.
That's good advice. Let's see. Eric wants to know, Matt, what is your go-to bookshelf speaker for home audio? Thoughts on KEF speakers?
Yeah, KEFs are great. I prefer a Dynaudio. Spend as much as you can in Dynaudio. I like I have Dynaudio Excite. Was it an X12? I think. But yeah, KEF is a nice option.
Those are cool looking speakers.
Yeah, but I'm such a Dyn fan that I would do those. Monitor Audio, I'm a big fan of Monitor Audio as well. They make a great bookshelf speaker.
What are those?
Those are Audio Engine.
Yeah.
Those are good for a if you need like a Bluetooth or a powered speaker for your computer. Audio Engines are pretty nice.
Let's see. Zane here in the chat wants to know, Matt, I'm looking for advice. I picked up the Rupes LHR Mark III starter kit a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's my first foray into polishing. My question is, what do you recommend to get smaller or more complex areas?
Yeah, I mean, you're just going to have to forgive some of that stuff when you have the big polisher. If you don't have the, a 3-inch or a nano, you just get as close as you can. You're going to have to, lean the pad up on the edge, which is going to stop the rotation. You'll still get the oscillation, so you'll still get some correcting done. But as you're learning and as you're progressing, a lot of the tight areas when you don't have the smaller machines, you could put some polish on your microfiber towel, and kind of work it a little bit, and then try to butt up next to it as close as you can with the 5-inch backing plate, the 5-inch pad. I mean, that's what I did forever, and I just wouldn't get fine details done when I was moving polish around with my old Griot's 6-inch and a 6-inch orange pad, and they're really crappy polish back in the day. They really didn't do much, but yeah, I mean, you can still get a car looking really great. You have to get a little creative. Take another orange pad and put some polish on it, and just stick it in your hand and kind of butt up next to the corners and stuff to try to get the defects taken out.
All right, let's see. Seth in the chat wants to know, are you still doing brain spotting?
No, that didn't work for me. All it did was give me a headache.
All right, this is a good question here from Jonathan. Going back to love bugs. Do you have any way or any advice to help bug guts from sticking so bad to windows, like windshield?
Well, that again comes to prep, right? So you want to polish the windshield, totally strip the windshield, put something like Wolf's on it, and it'll come right off. And then just don't leave it on there long. You got to get it off. Around this time of the year, if you wash the car twice, when I was commuting, I would almost wash it every morning. I'd get up and do like a quick wash with the CR Spotless, and then just air dry it when I'm driving. But I I'd do that if not every day, every other day, and then do a full wash on the weekend. So, for 2 months out of the year, you want to wash it, multiple times a week for those 2 months. I don't have the issue now because I live so close. So the bugs, I don't find that, I'm not commuting, so I don't get hit too hard.
Yeah, you can tell on the windshields here in the parking lot who drives a ways to get here.
Mm-hmm.
Man wants to know, do you have a specific wheel cleaner you recommend for burned-in brake dust?
You're going to have to probably refinish your wheels if that happens. But you want something with iron removal, Nexet, ColorTech, the stuff you used to have that was real rough, real harsh. What you probably want to do is iron remove, so use iron remover as well. So use an Iron X straight up, and then, try to clean it up with any kind of wheel cleaner. But yeah, Nexet ColorTech would probably be a good Sonex Full Effect, which I never loved. But you could use really any kind of soap and water. You're gonna have to get in there and agitate the crap out of it, clay it, clay bar the wheels and try to bring them back, polish them.
All right, Andres here in the chat says, Matt, thanks for all your hard work. My 69 Mustang is freshly painted. I want a giveaway for a coating from Nano Liquid Solutions, H7 solution. How would you feel about coating the Mustang? Any advice?
Yeah, punt that stuff in the trash. If I've never heard of it, it's probably not any good. Get some G-Technic CSL XO, or get some Geon, or get some CarPro, or get some of the hundreds of names that you actually know, and don't try to chase some bullcrap product like that because you can't watch any videos on how to do it. It's probably not any good, and so I would get some good stuff. And I probably wouldn't coat that car. I would probably wax that car. But if you were going to coat it, just get a good coating. Don't mess around with that junk. Who knows what you're going to end up with.
All right, Jeps here in the chat says, I'm thinking about purchasing an MTM PF22.
Mm-hmm.
Would I notice any big differences with that? Does it draw less soap from the bottle compared to other random brand foam cannons?
Yeah, a little bit. It's a little more efficient. A little bit better foam. Certainly better quality components. It's one of those things that you want the real thing. Certain people want the real thing and certain people don't care about intellectual property theft. Yeah, that's a microcosm, I believe. Those are the same people complaining about how crappy the Civic is because that's their dream car. Get better dreams, bro. Go to school. Get a better job. Work harder. Figure out a way to be better. Not freaking lazy. So, I don't like that. Actually, there was a comment on YouTube here recently where a guy got really hacked off. I was saying something about people on vacation. The thing that really bothers me is there's a lot of, regional sales reps or, vice president this, senior that, title this and that are, sitting at home, comfortable in their job while their boss is freaking out trying to figure out how they're going to pay them, and they're on freaking vacation playing with their kids. Sorry kids, but this is the time. I've got to make sure that we don't end up not able to eat. And so, that's what I've been talking about. You can't go on vacation. I've found that I've called companies like, oh, we're so busy. We're at home. We don't have time because we're at home. What does the home part have to do with it? And a lot of these companies aren't selling anything. So you can't go on vacation. And I understand you lost your job, but it wasn't all that easy for me to find those 5 people to hire. Not everyone, people weren't chomping at the bit to come work here, although everybody's supposedly out of a job. And so I think that there is this is the time, man. You gotta chase. You gotta figure out. You gotta like that guy Justin I hired who showed up here. He just showed up, said I want this. That's all you got to do. You might even get a job that you're not qualified for. Don't give me this crap. You're sitting around into sitting around at home. Woe is me. You're on vacation unless you're working your face off to find out what your next position is, what you create your life. If you sit around waiting for somebody else to create it for you, then you're screwed. So this guy in the comment was so angry with me when I said, well, what are you doing to improve yourself? It's not your employer's fault that you not of value to keep. So you went on vacation. Should be chasing. And I understand a lot of people are losing a job and it might take you a few months to find one, but make it freaking happen. You know, there should be people, beating down my doors to come work here. You know, I shouldn't have to beg people to come work here. They should be, should be chomping at the bit. Make it happen. So chase better. Get out of this vacation mode. And if you're working for somebody, you better make it so that you're showing them that you're of value. Otherwise, if the going gets tough for them, you're gone. You know, you don't want to be there. So this is the time, man. I mean, this is the time that we've been devoid of a recession, and I think it's likely only going to get worse. There's a lot of people that don't even know they're not employed yet. They're still getting a paycheck, but a lot of people are going to end up figuring out that they're done. So I wouldn't sit around waiting for that to happen. I'd either figure out how to show so much gosh darn value to the company you're working for, or find another one, or reinvent yourself, do something on your own, start a business, start something. I had a conversation with a friend of mine who owns a business, and so we had this conversation about your sales have gone virtually to zero, right? And so she has the PPP loan to help finance the next couple of months. And she's hoping, she's like, man, what am I going to do? You got to figure out how to, what are we going to do? We tried making face shields, and of course, people get caught with their hand in the cookie jar doing that because we don't actually need any of them that the people are making. And so now that short-term boom, if you didn't get in on it extremely early, there's going to be giant silos filled with rubber gloves. And you bought some knockoff N95 masks or whatever they're called, and so people are going to end up sitting on all this stuff, and it's going to be worthless. But she tried a couple of those pivots, and then we were talking about. I asked her the question. I said, "Well, do you have inventory of the product you normally sell?" Because just like us, we're so charmed right now in that we create content and people are buying. So it's easy. We're not like emailing. We're not phone calling. We're not cold calling. We're not warm calling. We're not building a sales team. If going gets tough, you're going to be calling people. I'm going to be calling people. Kyle's going to be calling people and just begging them to buy crap. We'll write a script and we'll go to work. We'll pivot. Right now, we're able to just sit and receive because we're creating things that people are interested in, and there's a market for it, even in the current environment. But if the going got tough and the well dried up, we may not be able to keep everybody, but we're going to go work, right? And so I asked her. I said, "So do you have inventory?" And she said, "Well, yeah, we've got tons of inventory. We just don't have anybody to buy it." I said, "Well, you have a client base." Well, yeah, I've got a whole database of 100, 200,000 people that have been buying from us over the years. I said, so take all these people that you're thinking about furloughing and teach them how to sell, because that's how she built the business. She could get on the phone, calling people, asking them, to write a script. Here's what I have, and what they sell. There's going to be a demand for it in the future. So get on the phone and remind them that in the future, when what they sell becomes in vogue again and companies need it, we're not going to have it because the supply chain will be dried up. And so when this pent up demand comes back for it, and so you can call up companies and say, look, even if you had to run a sale or something like that, you only run a sale if you have to. If your stuff is not valued in the current environment, that's when you start marking the price down. So maybe you call up and you run a sale, or first you call up and you offer people, say, hey, I'm afraid when you need this stuff, we're not going to have it. How about you buy some of it now? Go to work, get on the phone. And so train people who have been just receiving, train them how to go and get. And if they can't, then get rid of them. And then And so that's what I'm saying, going on vacation. Figure out how to pivot. Figure out how to help the guy who owns your company or your boss, help them help you. Just something to consider.
All right, George O in the chat says, I'm curious to know what computer monitors that your staff uses.
We have primarily the Dell 38 ultra wides. I have a couple of LG 4K monitors. We have a couple of HP 1080p cheapos IPS monitors, but most of the monitors we're buying are the Dell 38. It's like UD38 18W or something like that. It's their 38 ultra wide. We bought an LG ultra wide we're waiting on, so that we're going to try that as well. But that's what we use primarily.
All right, Jonathan wants to know, what are your recommended wiper blades?
I always recommend OE. They're contoured properly. There may be some improvements. I used to chase that all the time, buying like Pia blades or Bosch blades, and I always found like they didn't last as long. So my favorite has always been to just source. Now I'm always dealing with nicer cars that always have nicer blades, so there isn't much of an upgrade you can make anyway. But I'm looking for the original equipment. Ford Motorcraft, Porsche, BMW blades, which are made by Bosch or something like that, but they're made specifically for that vehicle. That's what I tend to choose to buy.
All right, Thomas West here in the chat says, what is your strategy for removing super hard water spotting on glass? I have some etched in spots on my rear window, and I want to remove them while I do the full OG process in the next few weeks.
Yeah, first try vinegar, white distilled vinegar. If that doesn't work, try a water spot remover. If that doesn't work, then and neither one probably will, then polish with Carpro Siri glass and a rayon pad. That'll take them out, most certainly.
All right, greetings from Oregon. Hey, our buddy Jeff is joining us here. We called us both handsome gents. Clearly the resolution is not good on his monitor. What are your thoughts on Adams making hand sanitizer, home service prep, etc.?
Yeah, I guess. Go for it.
People want it, though.
Yeah, it's not something I would do, but that's when you have a lack of passion, and so they're much more of a corporation. That's probably something Obsessed Garage would do if we were in their size or in their shoes. Mainly with them, I think it was more of their sales didn't dry up. They just had the ability to do it, so they did it. And so it was more of, I think, a contribution for them. Their belief that, hey, we can make a contribution. The people were looking for this. We have the chemicals sitting on the shelf. We have the know-how to make it because they own B&B. And so I think that was more the purpose of it. But I probably wouldn't have done it if I had the chemical production. But they're much more America and much more made in the USA, much more patriotic than I probably am. They're much more support the teachers and all that stuff. It's just not my. I don't have. They have more. As an organization, have more of a mercy gene than I do. And they're much more pandering to the masses, and so it's probably a smart move. But it's not a bad idea. But again, something I probably wouldn't have done.
Yeah, and then Matt chimed in here, Matt Duffy. I bought their hand soap because it smells like their products. If they sold detail spray scented, I would bathe in that. That's good. And Mimo's watching from Honolulu, so that's cool. Welcome, Mimo. You got anything else here, Matt? It's 3:30. We've run out of questions.
Nah.
You got lots to do.
Yeah, I think I'm good. I got to go price the tire dressing, and I do want to record an Inside the Hexcast talking about the new organizational structure. Talk about narrowing, the narrowing of job titles. You've seen your job start to narrow, and we'll narrow more and more, and we'll refine it down into where then leaders will emerge as things narrow. And so a lot of the guys we just hired, I asked, they're overqualified for the position I had them come into, knowing that as a lot of the jobs we have now narrow, that there are going to be positions that open up that are higher paying and bigger responsibility as time goes on. So I want to talk a little bit about that, and then talk about the structure of how we're going to make this thing work, what my vision is for making the multiple facilities work, and what this place is going to look like, at least what it looks like in my head now, and what that place up there will look like. So I'm going to be doing that probably sit down on Saturday or Sunday, just sit in front of the camera and talk for an hour or so about my philosophy and what I'm thinking of at the moment.
So if you're not already a Inside the Hex member, now would be a good time to.
Yeah, I'm pumped though. I found a new gym I'm going to, so a new CrossFit gym, which if I'd have gone there before, I would have kept my gym open. But it's going to be fun because I like the people. So it's going to be fun to work out with a bunch of people. And so I think I've caught the bug, or I think I have caught the bug for. I almost said cotton. I think I've caught the bug for I need fitness is the one thing that's lacking in my life that I so desperately want, but haven't put in the effort to do it. And so I'm hoping that I found the path. Buying the gym was clearly not the path, but I'll keep trying things until I figure out what clicks with me. So, because moderation doesn't click. Just doesn't work for me. Simple thing is stop eating, exercise a little bit. That's just not how I do things. I'm not wired that way. I try that, but it doesn't work. Catch you in the next week.
All right, see you guys next week. Thank you for joining us. And hey, Michael in Australia.
Oh, I'm so sore.
You start your standard process yet?
Yeah.